A good Moira Boysai. Lili Nishmasi Mimiros Mordechai. Welcome. Erev Yontif, an hour before Mincha, davening. This is the second shir in Ezvuneshech. We did Daf Yomi, Amud Beis. Reminds me, I was in this very hotel through Shkolim. For some reason, Akash Baruch Hu sends the interesting dapim during Pesach when we have to do 2, 3 shiurim. Shkolim was more interesting because I had to do 3 shiurim in one day, and now it's only 2, so it's mamish b'chesed. Happens to be very easy stuff. We're not into anything difficult. Geschmacka stuff. Rabbi Isai, it depends where you are and what you're doing. This is the Sir Shayma reminder. It is sponsored Lili Nishmas Sarah Alea Shalom Bas David, a 10-year-old girl. Mark sent me this. This is Rabbi Nachman Simon of Albany, New York. I believe he's a rabbi there, learning the daf with his 6-year-old grandson. Nothing better than learning the daf, and look where his fingers, like another Akiva Simcha, his fingers on the spot. The 6-year-old. Very interesting. And it's interesting that I was just talking about children in that part, where candies for children, he doesn't flinch. The kid doesn't flinch. Candy, toys. He's getting there, don't worry. Probably tomorrow was a bunch of nuts. We're almost finished. The child has a choice. Parents give him money to go buy wine. She goes to the store that gives out candy. He's not going to go to the other guy. So you're hurting. Givaldic. And this is by Shimi Braun, whose matzah ate the entire Pesach. I had an idea for him actually. My boys have a claiming you should see how many people smile when they see the MDY license plate on this kid's car. One of the ideas I had, if the matzah bakery was owned by Paris Chaim Levine, so what would the matzah box look like? MDY box. It would be MDY everywhere with a little tiny logo of Borough Park matzahs. I'm throwing it out there, Shemi. I don't know if you want to get involved, maybe a small thing. Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous to the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. The Paras HaChodesh Nishma Zechai B'Moshe Zechai B'As Yosef. Paras HaChodesh Binyomin Rosenfeld for hatzlacha in business and all my endeavors. Paras HaYoyim Nishmas B'ni Hayeled Yosef Zechron Levrach. Another terrible thing. Shaul Jaspan Lili Nishmas B'ni Hayeled Yosef Zechron Levrach. Ben Shaul Abraham and Navas Beis, I don't know what it is. Hey Nun Vav Mem Bracha Esther. Also the son of Bracha Esther. They should find a Nechama, the art. And that is for this zechus for an easy childbirth, his daughter and a healthy baby. Rabbi Isai, we had a little bit of a machlokes here. If ribis chtzutza, which means ribis da'iraisa, if there's true ribis, could you go to the Bezdin and exact it and take it out and have it returned to the borrower? Omer Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, my time in the Reb Eliezer. Why does Reb Eliezer say that you could go to a Bezdin and take it out from Bezdin? Says the Gemara, the Omar Kro. We're continuing with Geshmaka Agadata stuff. On Amud Beis, we finished with Agadata, going into to explain the rest of the Mishnah. V'chei ochicha imach. Your brother shall live, shall be alive with you. You should give it back to the leiva so that he can live. Oh, somebody asked me, overheard the shir, and he asked me, now I'm just hopping right now. So what's the connection between a murderer and somebody who takes ribbis? So I started telling him, taking ribbis, you destroy the guy's life. But here it is, v'chei achicha. The Torah says that you're not allowing him to live. It's taking away his life. When you put that kind of pressure on a person, you can't make it. Everything he earns goes to interest. You're taking away his life. And what's Rabbi Elchanan do with the v'chei achicha imach? Listen to this. Hi v'chei achicha imach, my avidlei. You're not going to believe this case. Shnayim shoyu mahalchim b'derech ubiyadechod mehem kitoin shel mayim. Here we go. Beautiful picture. Two people are walking in the desert, and one of them has a bottle of water, but only one of them. Im shoisim shneim, if both drink from the bottle, mason, they both die. V'im shoise echad mem, and if the owner of the bottle drinks from it, magia liyishuv, he'll be able to reach his destination. Dorish ben Petoira says Petoira ben Petoira mutos ishtu shneim. It's better that they both drink v'yamusu and they both die. Val yira echad mehem b'misasoi shel chavera. So Ben Petoira comes up and says, Rabbi Isai, it doesn't make sense, but I'm telling you, both people drink and they both die. But I own the water. Too bad. Says Rabbi Akiva, no. This is the pasuk that Rabbi Yochanan is learning from. Your life, with you. When does your brother live? With you. When you're alive, he could live. But your life comes before the life of your friend. Rabbi Chasman says over here, without Rabbi Akiva, you'd go with Ben Petoira. It doesn't make any sense to you. I'm supposed to die. It's my water. Why should I give it to him? Yeah, that's the Torah. Sometimes you don't understand. You don't need to understand. You need to know the hatzlacha and follow that hatzlacha without understanding. But there's a Mordik Shari Tshuva, although I saw that some Sofer might be saying something different. We'll go to Shari Tshuva. Shari Tshuva in Archaim, Siman Tov Pei says, and this is Mamish Negeh to us. If you find the kazayis matzah on the floor, you're in Europe and there's zero matzah, and you found the last final piece of matzah, do you share it with your friend? Do you give half and half? You take it to kazayis for yourself? So he says that from this Gemara, you could say a kavachomer. If, when it comes to gashmias, your life comes before your friend's life, so certainly when it comes to ruchnias, your life comes before your friend's life, and therefore you take the matzah and you don't give it to your friend. So what do you see from here? I was talking to somebody here in the hotel, somebody from Toronto. I said, no, what's going to be? When are you going to start the daf? Every year. He says, look, I work half a day, and the other half a day I do chesed. So I told him this without seeing this Gemara, and now I have to go tell him tonight. I said, your life comes before the chesed. You have to do for yourself. Chesed first with yourself, then when you do with other people. You don't do chesed the whole day for other people and nothing for yourself. You got to learn Torah for yourself. Listen to this. So the Shari Tshuva brings a story. This could, but it seems like, I don't know, some Sefer, you have to understand, some Sefer argues on this. Brings a story that there was a very wealthy person who wanted to purchase a lulav and esrog for the chassid, the big chassid, Reb David HaKoyen. That was his name. And there was a guy, there was only like one esrog, I guess, and the guy comes to buy for Reb David HaKoyen, the chassid. And another person comes and starts bidding, and there was a war, and he started upping the price. He says, what are you doing? I'm trying to buy this for the chassid. The guy bought it. So the chassid, Reb David HaKoyen, said that guy was right. That when it comes to mitzvahs, there's no chassid, there's no galadar. You fend for yourself. You buy your own mitzvah. Yes, there's a galadar that wants it. You come before the galadar. This is Shari Tshuva saying this.
Why does it always have to be a chassid? Why can't it be a litzvah? It's always a chassid?
This is before Chassidim existed. This is not chassid, this is a real chassid. The time of the Rishonim. The chassid, he's a chassid. Shari Tshuva brings this. This is way before there was Litvaks and Chassidim. Chassidim are only 250 years old. We're talking about, a long, long time ago. No. Way before the Mitzvah Shah. Says the Gemara. But so you hear what's going on here? There's when it comes to mitzvahs, he says, you don't give kavod. You take it for yourself. Interesting thing. So I'm saying again, I'm making this announcement. If you're one of these guys that's busy in Zatzal, whatever, first yourself. First, you learn Torah for yourself. Then when you have time, then you go out and you do chesed for others. So now we want to see if this is going to hold up. This idea that when you take ribis ktsutza, you pay, you're the loiva, and you paid the malva, you're the bar, you paid the lender, ribis doiraisa, can you go to Bezdin and take it back? As the Gemara ribis, a father dies and left over Yerusha, but it's full of money from ribis. On the sons, no. This is the pile of interest money. You don't have to give it back. Havian, but what about the father himself? It says only the sons don't have to, as we had yesterday, or the year before. But a father has to. So this seems like Eliezer. It's cash on Reb Elchanan. It seems like you go to Bezdin and you return it. Says the Gemara, no. It could be that the father doesn't have to return it. It says in the Sefer, when a father leaves over something that everybody knows, here, that car, that cow, that suit, anything that's very noticeable, you know who owns it. Those are the items that you must give back, because even after the father dies, you're mechuyev in the covenant of your father after his death. You don't want people schmoozing. Oh, you see that cow? You see that car? He took a beribis from somebody else. Give it back. So, or Gneva, what is it talking about there? I don't know. Okay. Oh, Gezel. Yeah, Gezel. Talking about Gneva. So since the Reish is talking about Gneva, we just stuck it in. Also that the father, you give back, the father should give back when it comes to ribis. That's hatzlacha, that the father shouldn't be embarrassed when it comes to Gneva. He stole somebody's car, give it back after his death. What? The Yarshim have to give back something that the father did wrong? Listen to this. Kari Khan, Venosi Ba'amcha Loisar, we just had the other day. But here it is. Again, Chazara. It says in the Pasuk, Venosi Ba'amcha Loisar. You should not curse the Nasi in your nation. You shouldn't curse anybody. And we learn Ba'amcha Ba'oisei Maisa Amcha. You hear this, Rabbi Isai? I mentioned it. Chofetz Chaim says, I don't want to say this heter, but again, here we see the point. When a person doesn't do Maisa Amcha, he doesn't act like a Jew. What does that mean? It doesn't mean he does 25 Averas. One Avera called interest, ribis. He's over and he keeps on lending beribis. He's not a Oisa Maisa Amcha. He doesn't act like a Jew. And if he doesn't act like a Jew, I don't have to honor him after his death. So it's machlokes. The Shulchan Aruch says at the end of the day, if a father doesn't do Maisa Amcha, you should give him kavod. There are those who mecholek the Tur, other Rishonim. We're talking about a father who did tshuva. He also tshuva my bargabe. But if he did tshuva, why does he still have this cow? Why does he still? Why does he have this? Because he forgot to give it back, or it was at the last moment of his life when he did tshuva. The Rav came with the video. He started doing video. He said, I regret taking interest. I regret stealing. So in that case, you give it back. Meisvei. Very interesting lashon, which the Gemara is going to stop and explain the lashon. If you're a ganav, or you lend with interest, even though you collected, you give it back. So the Gemara, what's going on here? What kind of ganav collects? He guzzle. If he stole, it's stolen. He didn't collect. Eli guzzle, and if he didn't steal, gazlanim karzlo. There's a famous line by Baruch Ber Leibovich. Baruch Ber, he says, just because a person knows how to steal, you don't call him a ganav. He knows how. It doesn't mean he stole. So just because a person knows how to learn, you don't call him a lamdin. He has to learn. That's what he says. So here also, just because he knows how to steal, you're not going to call him a ganav. Eloima, nupshat. What does it mean? Hagazlonim umalve beribis. A guy that lends with interest, he's a gazlan. It's hagazlanim. Who are these gazlanim? Malve beribis. Elema gazlanim. I knew malve ribis. Abishigava machzirim. But it says mafurish that if they took the borrower, took the interest, he must return it. And what does Rabbi Elchanan say? He doesn't have to return it. You don't go to Bezdin. It's a right to Rabbi Eliezer and a kash on Rabbi Elchanan. Says Gemara, you're right. That's a good kash on Rabbi Elchanan. The thing is, we have a machlokes tanoim. And Rabbi Elchanan grabbed one tana. He has somebody that holds like him, or he holds like somebody. Tanoi the Sanyo, Rabbi Nechemia, Rabbi Eliezer, Yaakov. Poitrim is hamal b'mis ha'arev. When somebody lends with interest, do you give him malchus? Yes or no? So, Rabbi Nechemia, Rabbi Eliezer, Yaakov, they say potter from malchus, the lender and the guarantor potter from malchus. Why? Mipnei sheyesh bahem kumasei. Oh, so if you see over here, there's something called lav hanitak la'asei. We have a lav, do not lend with interest, but it's connected to a positive command, to a kumasei, ta'asei. In other words, you don't get malchus for lending with ribis. Why? Because you could undo it. You don't get malchus for stealing because you could undo it and give it back. You don't get malchus for lending with ribis because you could undo it by giving it back. Says Gemara, my kumasei. What exactly could you do? Because you tell them, go give it back. So you see, we have a machlokes here, whether or not the ones who argue, Nechemia and Rebbe Eliezer Yaakov, they hold, Tanakama holds, that you don't give it back, or you do give it back. So here, that's the machlokes. Does the loiva, the malva, who received interest, does he have to give it back to the borrower? Says the Gemara, no. So this is a long Rashi that explains. Basically, Rashi says, of course, somebody that lends beribis and he pays, he gets malchus. They get malchus. But over here we're talking about it was never paid up. The loiva never paid. So if that's the case, my kumasei. So what does the malva have to do? What does the guarantor have to do? The malva was never paid. So right now, what is he supposed to do? The kraya shtar. Both the malva and the guarantor should rip up the shtar. Ask the Gemara, why? If you hold that a shtar that was written is considered rip it up. Why? Because when you write a shtar, just the writing itself, that's interest. That's taking interest, even though you didn't take the interest. But ask the Gemara, why? If a shtar that's ready to go, it's ready to collect, is considered like it's collected, then everybody should hold. Then there shouldn't be a machlokes. Everybody should hold that you did an iser. And if the shtar is nothing yet, you have to wait until it happens. So how could anybody hold that you're chayiv? You didn't do anything. Everybody holds that it's nothing yet. Listen to this. Remember yesterday we had, or the other shir, maybe it was in the morning, I don't know when it was. We just had that if you put the weight into salt, boom, you're chayiv. We have something similar here by interest, just by writing in a document, by you holding on. If you hold on to a document that says so-and-so is going to pay me interest, it's negated to us guys. We in the real estate business, in the nursing home, and all these guys, we deal with this on a daily basis, on this interest stuff, because we take loans and this, and you're taking from Jews, not Jews. It's a whole parasha. You got to be careful. I'm starting to rethink things. Because I have a partner who's non-religious, and he doesn't understand what iska means. I told him, sign on this thing. No, sign on this thing. He doesn't know what he's signing. He doesn't know what iska is. He signed. Okay, he signed. Shkoyach. You need to know what iska is. You need to know that you're doing a deal, that you're part of a partnership. We're going to get into that sugya. But I'm saying, it's beautiful to learn these halachas for anybody that's in business, anybody that's not in business. We should all know this stuff. So the Gemara says, listen to this. The sumo, Why is it called Suma, not Shuma? Check this out. We just laned it, right? Yesterday, 2 days ago. Depends where you live. Shmois Perikov Beis Pasachov Dal. Im Kesef Talves Ami said, Oni Imach Loisiele Kenoishe, Loise Simun Olav Neshech. You shouldn't place upon him interest, Neshech, Ribis. So it's called Suma. The Suma Milsehi, by writing it in a document, by not taking interest, you're still over. Just by putting in a document, holding on to a document that says that I owe you interest or you owe me interest, we're both over. Because it says it's not. It says in the Mishnah, these are the ones who receive lav likamon daf ayin Amud Beis coming up in like 2 weeks. Hamalve va'loive, who gets a loisase malve loive orev veidim. The borrower, the lender, the borrower, the guarantor, and the Eidim talking about over here. We're not going to go into it. What kind of orev guarantor that you could go to him directly. It's an orev kabbalah, not to be confused. Just let's go weiter va'edim. Bishlam akulu avad ma'isa. So Gemara says, okay, I understand malve loive orev. I understand they did something. Eloidim, my avad. What did the witnesses do? They just stood there and witnessed. Elav shmamino, the summa milsi. They didn't just do something. They signed the document, and the side of the document, that is taking interest. Even for the Eidim, shmamino. Omer Rav Safra. So Rav Safra drops a bomb, just for 2 minutes here. We have to understand what he's saying. Very, what's the word? It's like a riddle. Not scriptural, very
Cryptic.
Cryptic, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. If by the non-Jew, in the court of the non-Jew, they take from the borrower and they give to the lender. If they're going to do that, if they're going to enforce a deal where they say, you borrower, you owe money, so b'dinenu, then that same case in the Jewish courts, then we will have to give back and take away from the borrower what he got the interest and give it back to the lender. At the end of the day, he could have maybe said, if it's ribis ksutza, if it's a ribis deraisa, you give it back to the loiva, and if it's ribis avak ribis, if it's the rabbanon, you don't. Maybe he could have said it like that, but he didn't. He said, if by the goyim they enforce it, so by the yidden we take it out of the malma. Again, if by the goyim they take from the loiva, from the borrower, and they give to the lender, so by the Jews we're going to take from the lender and give it back to the borrower. Is this, Rav Yosef was Abayi's Rebbe, is this a general rule? There's no exceptions. So we should know what Saw B'Saw is, but just in case you just started now, Bava Metzia, we'll go over it again. Saw B'Saw means, here we have the case, Shimon is the Malva, Reuven is the Loiva. Shimon gave Reuven I think I did it too fast. Shimon gave Reuven a certain measurement of wheat, and at that point it was worth $20. So Reuven should not return to Shimon that measurement in wheat if the wheat has a market that keeps on moving. Like today. Today's market constantly moves. It could go up to 30, so therefore you're not allowed to return that thing. We'll see different halachas in it. But that's only a Rabbanon, the B'dinei Motzim Elei V'Lemalva. In that case, we're going to enforce this loan. We're going to grab it from the loiva and give it to the malva. We're going to grab it from the borrower and give it to the lender. Why not? He lent him a certain amount of wheat. The malva deserves it. But in Jewish law, this is not something that we enforce in Jewish courts. Why? Because it's not ribis ksutza. Why is it not ribis ksutza? Why is it? Because ribis ksutza means I'm giving you back a certain amount. When I borrow this wheat, I'm giving you back a certain amount of money. Over here, I don't know. The markets go up, the markets go down. I don't know. It doesn't. It's only avak ribis. It's only the rabbanon. Just want to point out that you can stick it in anywhere here, but it's interesting. We're talking about wheat, we're talking about flour. Right now in Eretz Yisrael, in a day from now, you could assume that the prices of flour go up a lot, wheat, flour, because a lot of people are grinding wheat and getting all this kemach that's after Pesach. The makbid, a lot of people are not soymach on heter mechira, and they wait until it could go on for weeks sometimes. They won't buy bread until everything goes into place. So they're baking their own bread. There's a lot of flours flying around over there. Says the Gemara. So you tell me a rule over here. B'sa is not in the rule. The way the non-Jew views sabasa, he views it as a deposit. That's why he takes it out of the courts will take it from the levy and give it to the malva. But it's for a different reason, not because of an interest thing. What about mishkanto? If the borrower gives the lender, so Rashi says, for instance, he gives him a vineyard. He says, take my vineyard, use my vineyard, give me $1 million, use my vineyard. Now, if the malva uses the grapes during that period of time, so he would have to reduce from the loan. He gave him $1 million loan. He got a vineyard in return as a collateral, and he uses the wine, he uses the grapes. So you look at how many grapes he used. He used $100,000 worth of grapes. Okay, the loan went to $900,000. But what? Mashkanta below nachyasa, if you did not deduct the usage, so in that case, where the loiva ate from his own fruit, the loiva gave the vineyard to the malva. The loiva sneaks in there in the middle of the night and takes a bunch of fruit. So the non-Jewish court will say, hey, Mr. Loiva, pay the malva back. Why do you go in there? Yet, ubedinenu, so it should be according to Rav Safra, that when the loiva has to pay the malva, so the malva is going to have to pay the loiva in the Jewish court. Ubedinenu imachzir malva loiva. But we don't go from the malva to the loiva. Why? Why don't we go from the malva to the loiva? Because this is only a vak ribis. This is not a ribis ksutza. I don't know if this vineyard is going to produce fruit today. So when I give you the vineyard, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how much you're going to take from it. Not going to take. So it's not ribis ksutza. It's only a vak ribis. So in the Rabbanan, the courts never take away from the malva and give to the loiva. So here's a hole in your theory. The goyim, the way they view this, they view that the loiva sold the vineyard to the malva. That's how they view it. The malva actually made a kinyan in it. So says Gemara, so then what exactly did he gain from this rule? She says, what is it? When it comes to the rice ribis, I want to tell you that Allah is like Reb Eliezer. Now what? Reb is trying to say a very simple thing, that in it, the rice ribis. Again, what's the rice ribis? When there's a form of a loan, and I know from day one, as I give you the loan, I know how much I'm going to make back. It's katzotz, it's set. That is the raisa. And Reb Eliezer says, I can go after the lender and take my interest back. Halavai me. I'm making millions go back to all the guys. Hey, you owe me all that interest. No, it was hatzlacha. There's no interest.
Whenever the guy could get Asper, he gives him a field, and then they switch for the $1 million, and then he subtracts. Why isn't that sabasa?
So everything you can say, why is it not sabasa? Any kind of item like that.
Sabasa is only the raisa?
No, sabasa is the rabbanon. Completely the rabbanon.
So why is in that case sabasa? Why subtract?
Because it wasn't a loan. It wasn't a loan. It was a mashkin. It's collateral. It's collateral. I'm permitted to use the collateral, but I must do nachyasa. I must take off whatever, subtract from the collateral, from the loan, whatever I use from the collateral. It's not a loan. Says the Gemara, now we're going to say two beautiful halachas here. Mamish beautiful stuff. What if in their halacha we don't take out, in their law, not a law, in their law, non-Jewish law, they don't do anything to the lender. So then we don't take from the, in their law, when they don't take from the borrower, so in our law, in our halacha, we don't take from the lender. In other words, what does it mean? Ribis mukdemes, ribis mucheres. Two beautiful halachas. I think we know a lot of it, but it's kedai to think about it. If you want to take a loan from another Jewish person, you want to, even an interest-free loan. Let's say you want to go to a gemach and get a loan. So what do? You send the guy a beautiful shalach manas. A month before, you're going to go get a loan. Mamish also. That's ribis. It's ribis mukdemes. It's ribis before the loan took place. You're smearing him up for 6 months. You know you need a geshmaka loan here. You need $1 million interest-free. The guy has a gemach. You go, shalach manas. You buy him an aliyah, you this, that, you do all the stuff you need to do. Aster. Another example is a guy gave you a loan, interest-free. You paid him back. And then you give him a shalach manas, ribis mucheres. So that is what? What's that called? Avak ribis. Not the raisa, the rabbanon. That's something that the non-Jewish courts don't enforce, and we don't either enforce. Now here we go. Oh, you have to do sponsors. Kidnovations in honor of my Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga. Official mitzvah motivators in honor of limited sponsors for the inner Talmud learning course of brothers. The Yartzeits of my grandfather Hachaver Moshe ben Yerachmiel Shaul and Horav and Moshe ben Shayma Zatzal. So, just to remind the Olam, we did this. We'll do it again. Chazara. We're talking about psiko al peres, a future contract. It happens all the time. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. There's different things. You could buy, in New York, you buy oil. I don't know if they still do that. I remember when I was years ago. I guess probably don't do it anymore. Yeah, they probably do. They have these oil trucks that come to people's homes in Brooklyn, pump the oil. Pay in advance, maybe they don't. I don't know how it works. But there's certain things that you give somebody money in advance. There's certain subscriptions, for instance. You give somebody in the beginning of the year subscription for beautiful fruit or flowers. I know people, wealthy people, nice, not wealthy, whatever, it doesn't matter. You give the florist, here's a $2,000. I want flowers for Shabbos every single Shabbos. If you give them money in advance, no problem. Even if the flowers go up in price, no problem. I gave the money in advance, that person, they have the money, they do whatever they want, they give me flowers. Now, if you didn't give the money in advance, then there's a big problem. It's a problem of ribis. And there's two ways out of it. I might have said, I have charata now. I don't think you need both of these together. I think you need one or the other. There's a heter, yeshloi. If the guy can provide you flowers right now, all the flowers, I don't know if flowers is a great example, but he can provide you all the grapes, all the wine, whatever it is, yeshloi. In our show, people buy tablecloths on a subscription. The plastic tablecloths that cover the tables on Shabbos, whatever. Some people use the disposable, and it comes in giant rolls, and they come every 3 months. They give you another roll, subscription. Fine. There's one heter is called yeshloi. If he has it, then he could just provide it to you right now. Boom. So he takes your money and he provides it to you throughout the year. So even if the price goes up, it doesn't matter. And the other one is called Yotza. If there's a market right now that's very stable for at least a couple of days or so, everybody knows this is the price, and I could purchase it if I want right now in any store. So even if I don't have that product, I could go to any store that sells tomatoes and buy you 1,000 pounds of tomatoes and give it to you right now. I could go to any store because the market is stable. There's no fluctuation in the price. That's the second heter. Yotza hashar and yeshloi. So, if you recall, we're talking about this case right over here, where a guy, this is the Rabbanan, he borrowed a certain amount of wheat from somebody who was worth 25, and the price went up to 30. So then he says, okay, pay me back my wheat because I want to buy wine. He says, oh, you want wine? I have wine. I'll give you wine. Oh, but I don't have the wine right now. I have the wine later. So the Mishnah says, since he doesn't have the wine, you're not allowed to do this. Says the Gemara, who cares if he doesn't have the wine? All you need is Yotza Hashar. Why do I need wine? Why do I need Yeshloi? So you have two things. You have Yeshloi, he has the wine, and then it's not Ribbis. And you have Yotza Hashar, it's available everywhere. So ask the Gemara, why do I need Yeshloi? The guy himself has the wine. Why? You cannot do Poiskim al Paris again, means a forward contract on fruit until Yetze Hashar. There's a stable market, Yotze Hashar. But if there's a stable market, Poiskim, you could buy it now for forward contract. Even though the guy you're paying the money doesn't have it right now, but he could get it. If he wants to, he could get it right now. He goes down the block. Every store has it. Says Gemara Moirdik, I'll tell you why. Because if you're giving that guy money, I'll say about pet. If I give Shlomo Eliezer money, and I say, give me wine throughout the year, if he could go to any liquor store and buy that wine, great. But I gave him money, and with that money he could purchase it right now. He didn't feel like purchasing it right now, so that's not ribbis. He purchased it in a month from now. But if I didn't give him money, if I gave him my IOU, that's problematic. So what if he could go to the liquor store? But I didn't give him money. And who says he has money today to buy it? And now he's mischayev to give me today's price. And you know how the battles go. All of a sudden he comes a 16 and a 17, 2018, and boom, he's going to be in a big tzara when he goes to the P-up or whatever the name of the store is, and he tries to buy that bottle of wine. It's double the price. Now, if he could purchase it today, and I give him the cash to purchase today, so it's his fault I didn't purchase today. That's his problem. But if I didn't give him cash, so I can't assume that he has the cash to buy that. So then Yotza Hashar, the heter of Yotza Hashar, flies out the window. Understood? You're saying yes because you want to go to Mincha or because it's understood?
You have to have money ready to go.
Ready to go. Cash, liquid. None of this real estate business, I have cash that's tied up in buildings. You need cash right now. The borrower is not giving cash. He's doing a chayiv. I owe you. Oh, that's not good for Yotza Hashar. That's as if there's no Yotza Hashar. I owe you 100. I come to you. So the guy that you come to me, I owe you money. So you come to me into my granary. That means I have grain. Yes, Lord. I have grain. Give me money because I want to buy grain. You know what? Forget the money. I'll give you product. Go figure out what the market is right now, and that's what I'll give you. And I'll give you, for the next 12 months, I'll give you wheat whenever you need. Awesome. Why? It's not mezuman. The lav ki isari is a coin. The lav ki isari habali yodei, it's not cash in the hand. So you see, in order for this trick of Yotza Hashar, that it's available right now, Yeshle means I really have it. Yotza Hashar means it's available. In order to use Yotza Hashar, I need cash. I need to receive cash from you. Otherwise, Yotza Hashar doesn't work. So why in the world does the Mishnah say that he doesn't have wine? Even if he does have it, it doesn't work. Listen to this. This is beautiful. There's a concept Rabbi Yisrael called haramas ribis. It's trickery. It looks like ribis. Mechzikir ribis. Let me show you. Okay, a new Muslim in Shas called haramas ribis, mechzikir ribis. It looks like ribis. Here it goes. Very, very simple. The Malva and a Leiva. Listen to this. Very, very simple. The Malva says, please lend me $1,000. Sorry, I don't have that kind of money, says the Malva, but I have a car. Here's the car is worth $1,200. Take my car. Okay. Is that mutter? Yes. So up until now, everything is great. Again, Leiva wants $1,000. Malva says, I won't give you cash. I don't have cash. Sorry. I have something worth cash. Here's a $1,200 car instead of your $1,000 car. Say it. Could Leiva sell the car right now? Yes. Could Leiva sell it for less money? Yes. Could Leiva sell it back to Malva? Yes. Why not? If the Leiva could sell it, if the guy that wanted to borrow money, if he could sell the car to anybody in the world, so he could also sell it back to the guy that gave it to him. The problem is that anybody that sees what's going on seems to them that there's trickery going on there. The Leiva wanted $1,000. The Malva says, I don't have $1,000. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a car that's worth $1,200. A second later, he goes and he gives the Leiva $1,000 cash. All of a sudden, he doesn't have money. And he takes back his car. So what just happened there? The car is $1,200. So the Leiva owed him $1,200. And then a day later, the Leiva gets $1,000 in cash from the same person. So now it comes out that he owes him $200. You hear what happened? Very simple. The Leiva wants $1,000. Instead, he gets from the Malva, he gets a $1,200 car. He says, you owe me $1,200. Yeah, I'm giving it to you as a gift. You owe me $1,200. Not a gift. I'm selling you the car. You pay me when you have the money. You owe me $1,200. Now, 2 days later, hold on, Mark. I know you want to go to Shaul. 2 days later, he shut off my picture. 2 days later, he says, you have a car? Oh, it's a beautiful car. How much do you want? The guy says, I want $1,200. He says, how about you take $1,000? The guy is desperate for cash. He doesn't have a dime. He has to pay tuition. Fine, I'll take $1,000 from him. So the Malva gives him $1,000. He gets back his car. But really, the Leiva owes him now $200. He owes him $1,200 instead of $1,000. Could I please buy that car back for $1,000? Boom. So he just gave $200. Is that mutter? Yes, but it's also. Why? Asur mipnei haramas ribas. It's a deception. It looks like ribas. Oh, here's the case in the Gemara. Case said, please lend me 100. I don't have 100. I'll give you wheat that's worth 100. So he gave him chidin that's worth 100. Mana, we said it's 25. Then he goes back to him and says, listen, I'll give you cash. Give me the wheat I just gave you for 24. I gave it to you at 25, so you owe me $25. Now I'm going to give you 24. So I gained $1. Mutter. It's mutter, hatzlacha. V'asr. But it's also last is giving narrow ears. Rabbanan said it's also because it looks like yours. Says Gemara Chanami, says Abayos. So that's what happened by Yos. So he says a whole new pshat in the Mishnah. What you thought the pshat is that he first borrowed wheat and it was worth 25. And then the price of wheat went up to 30. Then he switched it to wine. No, that's not what happened. Says Abaye never was at 25. It was always at 30. Omar lei. Sorry. Please lend me 30. Pay attention to what's going on here. He said a price, the wheat is worth 30, not 25 like we said in the picture before. Let's go back to the picture. You see how in the beginning, dinar zav means 25, and then the price went up to 30. Abai says no, in step 1 it was already 30. No, it's just missing from the Mishnah. The whole first part is missing. This whole trick of Haramas Rimas is missing. And then he went, and then that's where the Mishnah steps in. That's where it picks up from here. That he went, the Malva went back to the Levi and said, you know what? We made up that this wheat over here is 30. How about you sell it back to me for 25, like with the car? How about you sell it back to me for 1,000 instead of 1,200? If the Leiva has wine worth 30, Hey, he could pay him. Here, take 30 worth of wine. The less lamban, that wouldn't be a problem. He's allowed to pay up the wheat that he borrowed. It's like saba but in a different product, right? I borrowed 30 worth of wheat. Here's 30 worth of wine. Gewaldig. But in our Mishnah, what happened was Vila, he doesn't have the wine. He doesn't have wine. He's certainly going to take cash. That looks like ribs. So Rav has a number of problems with the language. The Malva says, give me my wheat. No, he doesn't want wheat. According to Abaya, he gave him wheat. What does the Malva want now? He wants cash. He wants dmei chita. Dmei chita me boile. So okay, dmei chita. Shani moichon. The Malva says, this which I'm selling. Shemachartim l'chom me boile. I sold it to you already. I gave you the car. I sold you a car. I gave you the wheat. I sold it to you. Not that I'm going to. Okay, fine. Says Abaya. That's also not the end of the world. We'll just say, we'll amend it a little bit. It says, I sold it. We're almost done. 15 minutes. 3 more lines over here. Another problem is, I want to make it 30 dinar. No, we said that step 1 was already worth 30. It didn't become 30 later on. Okay, that also I'll say. But yes, initially you said that this wheat is worth 30. Oh, you know what? Let me trade it into wine, but you know what? I don't have wine. Ask Rava, it says that it was worth 25. Was worth, and you just telling me that's 30, not 25. All right. So we'll stop over here. Rabbi Sai, have a gewaldige day, have a wonderful day, have a good moyed, a good yontif, good vach, whenever you're watching this. If anybody's on Zoom right now, YouTube, I really, really appreciate it. It's tremendous chizuk. I know it's just a few minutes before. Lichbenchen and Yishkoyach Golem Ma'oy to Mark Ashkenazi and his whole family for allowing Mark to do this. Yishkoyach Golem Ma'oy, a good yontif.